The article is called The Meaning of Hockey, and it focuses on the origins of hockey and what those origins have to say about the spirit of the game and Canada's unique relationship to it.
Breaking away, Cass Crew are held by the CBW brilliant defense. Taking over the offensive, the Workshop boys launch a terrific drive for the Cass Crew net.
My article is basically trying to figure out where hockey came from and why it occupies the unique position in the Canadian psyche that it does. The unique spirit of the game, where did it come from? And the ultimate answer I gather circumstantial evidence to defend is that it came from these Aboriginal games that were played pre-contact, and that, I mean, amazingly, something like this, you would have seen something like it in this exact spot 1,000 years ago, and that is a kind of unique moment in sports.
I think it began as a university or a middle-class sport, like most sports in Canada and probably many other countries, that people had the time, the inclination, the opportunity, and probably the money to purchase equipment that they would need, even as basic as skates. So its beginnings were probably within a small group of arguably middle-class or upper-middle-class businessmen, and I think its profusion into society was as a spectator sport. I'll use Montreal as an example with winter carnivals that were established there in the late 1880s. Hockey was one of the team sports that was played for the winter carnival, and as people began to watch it and got excited about it and realized that it was something that they could enjoy at different levels, I think the development from there was quite a logical progression into, I wonder what it would be like if I tried it.
And I think hockey does borrow an immense amount of the spirit of the game from lacrosse.
I suspect lots of people knew the summer sport of lacrosse, and hockey became, again in urban centers that knew lacrosse, it became kind of a logical winter counterpart, but not because it had direct connections to Aboriginals, more like they saw a codified game of what the white man took over and made institutional lacrosse that was different than the native game.
Now, of course, it is absolutely probably the most common core Canadian experience that you can find. Maybe the only thing you can say that of. The question of what exactly constitutes hockey is a big question. It's known that it's a violent game is not something new. It's not something that Don Cherry thought up. It was always there. I mean, that is what, to me, connects it so clearly to these earlier games. I think what's incredible is how this core spirit has remained the same over time.
There is a real truth to the myth that Canada was the birthplace of the sport of hockey, and so there's always going to be that connection, but its diffusion, its spread to other countries is just so good now that the sport has become a worldwide sport. Still, people say, well, yes, but it originated in Canada.
You could say that it's a global game, but really it's a Canadian game.